Hi YouTube, hi BC, it's Rob here with another video, and this video is going to be my favourite 5 albums from 2021 so far. Not in any order, I'm just going to show them. I've not picked up that much new music this year, but here's 5 albums that I recommend. So the first one I'm going to show is a debut album by Priest. This album is called Uppers. So it came out in January and I got it as soon as it came out. It's just on black vinyl. So Priest are from London. Charlie Drinkwater, the lead singer, and a lot of friends. They did one gig in 2019, and after that one gig, Sub Pop Records signed them up. It's very much influenced by The Fall, I think, this album. Also a little bit of The Idols. There's 12 tracks on this album. I recommend you check out Decoration and also The Big Curve. But this is a very strong debut album. I do kind of feel a bit sorry for a lot of sort of new bands who, over the last couple of years, due to the pandemic, they've just not been able to perform live. And if you listen to this album, I'm sure you'd love to hear it live. So a really strong debut album by Priest, and it's called Uppers. Next album I'm going to show is by a singer I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of the band he used to be in. So it's Gruff Rhys from the Super Furry Animals. And this album, Seeking New Gods. So I'm not a lover of this design, but this album probably came out a couple of months ago. It's on kind of dark green vinyl, but I found it to be a very strong album, and when you listen to it, for me, you could put this album in between Super Furry Animals albums, mix the tracks up, and really you won't be able to tell the difference. It's a very strong album, Seeking New Gods by Gruff Rhys. Third album I'm going to show is by a female artist who I'm a big fan of, Jane Weaver. This album's Flock. So this came out a couple of months ago. I streamed it, I liked it, and this comes on pink vinyl. So it's funny because, so if you don't know Jane, she's, we call her the electronic goddess. She's in her late 40s, and I went to see her live a couple of years ago and really enjoyed her. A little bit, if you know Goldflap, similar to her. But I was in my local record shop, one of them anyway, Ski Records in Stockport, and I was talking to Gareth, the owner, and Gareth said, we got talking about Jane, and he informed me that Jane's son, Herbie, works in his shop on Saturdays. He's only 13, Herbie, and also her daughter Scarlett's worked in the shop as well. So, you know, Jane comes in on a Saturday and, you know, nobody recognises her. She picks Herbie up, and occasionally she takes records in, and they were running low on copies of this album, so she actually took some copies in. So this is one that's actually been touched by Jane. So yeah, very consistent, very good album. Really recommend this one, Jane Weaver and Flock. The next album I'm going to show, I bought it from this record shop, Wax and Beans. So Wax and Beans is a record shop in Bury, which is about 10 miles from me. The owner's Ben. I think he's had the shop going for 3 or 4 years now. I think he moved premises. You can get a coffee there, you can get a bite to eat. He stocks a lot of new vinyl, but also old stuff as well. Very friendly, great guy. So I was in there a couple of months ago, and I picked up this album, Squid. and Bright Green Fields. So Squid are a band who I've championed before. I've got some records by them, 12 inches, etc. Originally from Bristol, but they met at Brighton University. Didn't have anything to do, so they formed a band. So this comes on two discs. It's on green vinyl. So I was actually playing this in work a couple of weeks ago, and one of the managers more or less said, you know, turn that rubbish off. So that made me realise that it was decent. So Squid are influenced, I'd say, again, challenging vocals, a little bit like The Fall, but a little bit avant-garde, a little bit Can-like. And like I say, this album's nearly an hour long. And they've released a few singles, but the singles aren't on this album. It's pretty challenging, but it's excellent. It's been really well received by the critics. I do have a couple of other Squid records, I'll just show you. Last year I picked up this 10-inch called Sludge, and also Town Centre's EP with the track The Cleaner, which is excellent. But if you've not heard of Squid, I've got tickets to go and see them at the Albert Hall in Manchester in September. I mean, that gig's been cancelled a couple of times. And pretty similar to sort of TV Priest, their sort of career has really been put on hold due to the pandemic, and the sooner we can start going seeing gigs and supporting new bands, the better. So finally, the last record I want to show is by S.G. Lewis, and this is called Times. So I think if you had to twist my arm, this is my favourite album of the year so far. It's certainly the album that I've played the most. So this comes on black vinyl. So who's S.G. Lewis? I think he's a little bit of a DJ. Now Rogers is involved on this album. He plays on one of the tracks, at least one of the tracks. And it's a track called One More, which is such an infectious song. A little bit, this album in places does remind me of sort of Mark Ronson, if you know, sort of Mark Ronson, sort of 10 years ago. Really successful producer. And it's got that vibe about it. And when I listen to this album, it reminds me of what it used to be like for me when I used to go out on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and I just did not know what was going to happen. I didn't know who I was going to meet. I didn't know where I was going to end up. And you know, those were happy times. I mean, if I go out now, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to, you know, have too much to drink, and I'm going to come home on my own. So this is such a good album. It's probably an album that a lot of people would just not even investigate, but it's just full of hooks. Nearly every song. There's a couple of songs on it which I'm not as keen on, but even those, I've played this album so much that I've streamed it a hell of a lot while I've been working, and it's just a great album, really feel-good album. So yeah, Times by S.G. Lewis. So those are 5 new albums that have come out this year. I've not picked up a lot of new albums this year. Hopefully in the next sort of 5-6 months I'll pick up another 5, and then I can do a top 10. But all of those albums I recommend. They're all really good albums. So if you got any comments about what I showed, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching my video, and bye for now.